constantly to be able to withstand those kinds of attacks.
I've been going through a lot of tribulations lately. I'm not whining about it. It actually makes me know I'm doing good work, but it's getting really crazy. Everyday insanity that I can't ever really get into air because it just intensifies it. And like the FBI, the times they've been here in the Secret Service, the people are like, well, why don't you tell us about it? Well, I get subpoenas with federal gag orders. You can't talk about it. And then now it's in the newspaper what one of the cases was about, so I can talk about it. But it's not fun.
Right. And I'm sure that maybe with your situation, they tend to go around to talk to interview other people. And all of a sudden, well, there must be something wrong with Alex if the FBI is asking about him. And you know, it's hard you can't ever repair those kinds of damage.
No, they do that with landlords. They do that, and it's constant. I'm sick of it.
Right.
And I know what we're fighting, but Joe, what I'm saying is it brings it home and lets you know how real it is when they persecute you. And I haven't been indicted yet, knock on wood, like you have.
It's tough. I brought a little shirt I want to show you when I was president of my training class. I don't know if...
Oh, let me see this.
When I was president of my training class, one of my duties was to choose the T-shirt for the class. So it's a fedora-wearing Fed with his gun and badge, and it says, "I'm your worst nightmare, an accountant with a gun."
And then on the front, you've got your Federal Treasury agent.
Yeah, so we didn't wear this. This would be more the raid shirt that we used to wear with the Treasury emblem, and it would say U.S. agent on the back, which this one doesn't. But thought I'd lighten it up, and of course I had to change out of my Front Sight T-shirt to dress up because you were so nicely dressed.
By the way, I always hear about how Front Sight is the best in the country. I want to get your review of them because they're about to be a sponsor. Small world. Yes. Joe Banister, stay there. We'll be right back with him. There he is, Jimmy Vaughn. Great guy. Talking to him last night on the phone. Hi, Jimmy. Well, I'm a fan of Joe Banister. He's a fan of me. Jimmy's a fan of me. I'm a fan of him. We're all fans of people that love liberty. Okay, Joe Banister. Here's one of your other shirts you wear on the raids. Where is this country going? Where do you see the movement to expose the illegal IRS going? Because the Federal Reserve is getting close to being audited. People now know that a bunch of Madoffs get the money from the IRS, that it goes to debt, it goes to servicing the national debt, which is all a fictitious fraud. Can you explain that to people as a accountant?
As far as the Federal Reserve?
Sure.
That basically the government, when they need, it's basically like a credit card advance. If you think about the solicitations you get in the mail to get a credit card, and they say you're pre-approved, and you can go out and spend $5-10 grand, even though you may not have the means to pay for it later. But meanwhile, in the mail will come a check for $5,000 or $10,000 on your signature, and you can go out and spend it on whatever you want. And, hopefully you can pay it back, but the banks are going to charge a high enough interest rate that they're going to make money on you, or at least the majority, the overall cut for the bank will be huge. So in a sense, I look at it that way in terms of what the federal government does. They have a blank checkbook that is basically like a cash advance, and then their collateral or security on those loans is all of the blood, sweat, and tears of all of us.
And it doesn't go to the country like the old taxes did. It goes directly to debt to offshore bankers. Before I forget, I want to talk about this. How do people support you in your work, your book, your website, what you're doing? Because I know that they've, first you resigned because you wouldn't go along with their criminality. Then they took your CPA license away. Now, how are you funding yourself?
I basically just work as an accountant, or what they call a forensic accountant. I do a lot of the same kind of reconstructive work that I did at the IRS. It's just that now I'm working for the good guys. So that's what I do for a general living. But my website is freedomabovefortune.com. And the main thing I would ask is just people join my email list so that they can get updates on what's happening in my activism. And I also share activism in other areas, such as the stuff that you do. I have a little radio show myself. It's quite. I don't even want to talk about it, given what the beauty that I see here.
Give me a break. Tell us about your show.
Oh, come on! I got this little piece of equipment. I bought at the Guitar Center. But anyway, it's on Liberty Works Radio Network. So
yeah, they're good folks. That's great.
Yeah, with John
Kottmeyer, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tom Cryer, the attorney who was also prosecuted by the IRS, is there. So I have a show on Saturday mornings from 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific every Saturday. So
yeah, I should get in touch with Liberty Works Radio Network. I was probably on about 15 radio stations in 1998, 97, 98. And John Kottmeyer at that time had like, I don't know, 30 or something stations he was leasing. And he called up and he said, I'm going to put you on these stations. You got a hot show. And that was like the detonator. It went boom. I mean, the show was already getting big because then I was on like 45 all of a sudden. And then these were some big stations in big markets.
Right.
And then other stations heard and picked it up. And I kind of almost got up to about 80 or 90 stations. And then 9/11 happened. And I said it was an inside job. It was fine when I was bashing Bill Clinton. A lot of these conservative stations, not Kottmeyer, but the others said, nah.
Right.
And then Kottmeyer, of course, was unable to keep funding all that. But he's a great guy, so I love plugging Kottmeyer. In fact, maybe I should have him on and plug him. They ought to carry my show again. That'd be good for him. I don't know how many stations they're leasing this time.
Don't think they have too many. He's basically, I can't remember the reasons, but that network that you described from the old days, it was skyrocketing. But somehow I think the government or sponsors were able to derail it.
Yeah, the government went after sponsors and stuff.
Right.
And after Kottmeyer. That's what people need to financially support us. I mean, I could never go out and lease 30 or 40 big radio stations. I mean, Kottmeyer did everything, put everything on the line, all his life's money. I think he got some money from race car racing or something. But, I mean, the whole issue is he did that, and then people are like, you shouldn't have sponsors. You shouldn't ask for donations. We need funds, ladies and gentlemen.
It's tough. I guess people think because we have these little jackets for our suits that we're independently wealthy. And, I think ultimately God provides for us according to our needs as long as we ask.
Or that it's bad that the government forces you to give them your money, and then they use that to propagandize you. Right. We're here doing a show. It's free market. If you want to donate or buy the books and videos, that's your business. People say, no, you're not supposed to even sell a book or video. You're not supposed to have a TV show. You're not supposed to create your own media. See how it's doublethink? The media, Lockheed Martin and McDonnell Douglas and GE bomb makers, they can own NBC and stuff, and that's basically taxpayer money and put out government propaganda. But then we can't make a film and sell it, Joe.
Right. Well, I think part of the reason, Alex, is that the government realizes that even today they have trouble obviously telling you it's against the law to speak or to access your First Amendment rights, but to the extent they can chill your exercise of those rights, then all the best for them.
That's right. They demonize us ever capitalizing our operation. Folks, that is a lie of the New World Order. Fund us. The money bomb's coming up. Go to freedomabovefortune.com. Support Joe Banister.